Hey y'all, welcome to the latest episode of Catch the Fuck Up. I'm Fern,
And I'm Nicole.
and holy fuck, what a chapter.
I was telling Fern that I was like nervous. I was feeling my palpitations, which I used to get like all the time when something new in my like favorite media was releasing. Haven't felt it in a while. Thanks burning world, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, the flutters, the anticipation, and that's not a word, but yeah,
It's okay. We knew what you meant.
yeah, they were well founded. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, holy shit. So this week we're looking at chapter 379 of My Hero Academia. The chapter title is Hopes, and it took me forever to find it, which is ridiculous because it's on the very first page.
Yeah, that's where they usually put it when they're not doing plot twists.
Well, usually we don't have I keep forgetting that they put it on the first page when they give us the new like book cover.
Yeah.
Otherwise they'll just insert it randomly somewhere within the comic and I have to go hunting for it. Because sometimes it's on the first page, sometimes it's on the third, sometimes it's on the last, and I never know.
Yep, it's an Easter egg hunt to find it. But speaking of the new book, the new cover.
I love it. I love it so much. I think it's great.
It's beautiful. So the cover art for volume 37 dropped like online this week. And the internet exploded, as was correct, because the cover of volume 37 is basically like a few chapters ago when Izuku first got to Sky High after he was delayed and he found Katsuki lying dead on the ground, or at least mostly dead. So in this one, basically it is just a picture of Izuku in like God mode with his hair, with his lightning, with his eyes all aglow in righteous fury.
Wait. Did you get that one? Because I have a different one.
No, I'm talking about the one we saw earlier this week, not the one for the actual chapter.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was confused.
Yeah. So there's two different artworks. So I'm talking about the gay one.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We mentioned we needed to talk about. I forgot about that.
How could you forget about it? We were both freaking out.
It's early. I'm sleepy.
You woke up 90 minutes ago.
Barely. It genuinely takes me that long for my brain to wake up.
Okay, fine. But anyway, we're talking about the gay cover where it's Izuku cradling Katsuki.
Oh my god. Yeah, the cover that broke the internet for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So basically it is Izuku basically holding and like being protective over Katsuki's mostly dead form with the hole in his chest. That we still don't have an update on, by the way.
Nope. We got nothing.
Not a thing. But yeah, basically it is Izuku basically holding and protecting Katsuki. Again, like the princess and the bodyguard trope keeps going back and forth between them, and it's beautiful. It is on like a background of all of the tidal wave of fingers, so that's unpleasant. But Fern's main point that they want to be sure
I remember now.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, I noticed Izuku has had a costume update. So the parts of his costume that used to be black are now orange, and my brain went a little screwy.
Yep, it's orange for his husband Katsuki. Green and orange.
Am baffled. Are we gonna see that in the anime? Because if we do, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because if I remember right, he never even got to Katsuki's side before he had to start fighting Shigaraki. Like he saw him from a distance and he saw his little card on the ground and went into like triple god mode when he was furious.
Oh yeah, no, I meant the costume itself.
Oh, the costume. I don't know. We might. I mean, it would make sense because it's not going to draw anything away from it. But
he I'm trying to remember what condition his suit was in when he came back from his angst adventure.
It was pretty dirty, and I think they made repairs to it, but I don't think it was ever like remarked upon in the
Updated.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe not. Maybe it's just for the cover. But yeah, yeah.
It should be in the anime, which means we would actually see it at like the beginning of this battle back when they meet in the freaking parking lot or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And
it'll be interesting to see what happens if the color
yeah,
changes just for the cover or if it's like considered a canon suit upgrade.
I
I guess
hope
we'll
it
see.
I hope it is, because I want the anime onlys to know that gays keep winning.
Oh Lord. We cling to crumbs because that is all we have.
I mean, it's a pretty nice sized crumb.
It
Okay.
is. It is. I don't think we're gonna get anything.
I am still hoping. All right. So, away from the victory that is the Bakudeku freaking volume cover. So into the actual chapter. Again, this is the second piece of full color art. This is like the cover of the next volume for Jump Comics, not the volume for like the MHA bound ups. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
I
Don't
think
come to
so,
me.
yeah.
And the cover features Gentle and La Brava just trotting across the way with his tea, and they're both happy and excited. And I hate him, but also it's fine.
I forgot how cute La Brava's suit is.
Yeah, and then they like match, and I hate it, but it is also cute.
She's adorable. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's cool, and he is semi cool by association.
Yes, as it should be.
All right, so shall we dive into the chapter itself, which you apparently have a lot of questions about?
Yes, I do. Let's do this.
All right, so we open a little bit of a flashback, basically just like a few minutes beforehand of when the last chapter ended with Lady Nagant being a badass. Yes. Oh, Pretty Lady is back, and she's awesome, and she's perfect. So we back up just a couple minutes to show how she got into that position, and we find out that unlike Gentle, whose backup was essentially like planned, like he was the plan B, Lady Nagant was actually not involved. In fact, she was still in the hospital because she exploded or something. I don't know. We'll find out pretty soon.
I was gonna say I can't remember what happened, but she was incapacitated. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, like her body was somehow booby trapped if she betrayed AFO, which she in fact did. And yeah, so it should be shown in season 6. Or the beginning of season 7. I honestly don't know where they're going to cut it. They could cut it in so many different places, but we're gonna have the refresher soon enough. All right, so we are now back at Central Hospital, which may or may not have been where Kurogiri was. I don't know. All the names get mixed up, so it may or may not be that same hospital. It may be a different hospital. It doesn't really matter. All that really matters is that right after Kurogiri like escaped and got out of containment, we find that Lady Nagant has gotten out of bed, and she is still wrapped in bandages. She is still very much injured, because I'm pretty sure like her arc and the current arc are only like a couple days or a couple weeks later.
Like this has been a year for us, but for them it's literally been like a weekend.
Yeah, it's been crazy the amount of time that all this is happening in, which makes sense because it's the top of the plot. Everything happens right after the other. So she is still very injured. She is still being treated actively at the hospital, and her doctor tells her to like get back in bed or she's going to hurt herself even more. I do want to pause and ponder why her doctor looks like Super Mario.
We know why. It's because Horikoshi is a giant nerd.
I have questions, concerns, and I would also like to slap him upside the back of his head because, sir, we don't have time for your Easter eggs. There are things happening.
There's always time for Easter eggs,
I guess. But yeah, it's basically just a random doctor, and he's got like big dark hair that is reminiscent of Mario's hat, and he's got the mustache, and I'm mad about it, but moving on. So basically, as Lady Nagant is trying to get somewhere to help Her doctor, who is also like her caretaker, he makes the comment like, I can't just let a convict out to
Wreak
into all of
havoc.
this.
Yeah.
And Lady Nagant flashes back to her fight with Izuku and says that he asked me to fight with him, fight on our side, the hero's side, which is really sweet. And it's really great that she heard him. So she wants to do that. Like, she knows the big fight is going on. She may know that it's taken a bad turn.
Yeah, she's
So
had a change of heart, like a major one.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was like always there underneath all the jaded freaking trauma she got from the commission. She always wanted to be a hero, and now that she's out of the commission and also technically out of AFO's control, she can do that. Her broken body be damned.
Yep. Izuku, he does that. He just strips people's layers back.
Yep. And then we continue with this, and we do find out it is in fact the same hospital, because I'm dumb and immediately forgot what happens. Because Rocklock is there, and we know that Rocklock was at the Kurogiri fight, so it is in fact the same hospital.
Okay.
Yep. So they're all there. They were left behind when Kurogiri and President Mike left. Still kind of unclear where Spinner is. He may still be in that hospital room, unconscious, because he had a rough time.
I have no clue.
Yeah, well, we don't see him in this moment, which is fine. There's a lot other stuff going on.
Holy mother of God, we have so much to get through.
Yep, so he basically comes across Lady Nagant trying to go help in whatever way she can, and Rocklock, or Locklock, which he's also called. I don't know his name. It may be a translation thing. I think it's Rocklock, because
it is Rocklock. It's not Locklock. I don't know how that happened, but it's wrong.
It may also be a translation thing. It may be a specific Japanese language thing, because whenever they learn English, their R's and their L's, for whatever linguistic reason, kind of like bounce off of each other.
Right.
So that
it's Rocklock.
Yes. Okay. So much so I have to point out that it is actually a very racist stereotype, and I feel like I have to point that out. It's like, it's just how they're learning their languages. Don't be a fuckhead. Anyway. Okay. So
breathe.
Yes, there's so much going on. So Rocklock essentially takes responsibility for Lady Nagant, because he has sort of the same relationship with Izuku. Like, he recognizes, maybe even on a higher level, that this whole fight depends on the interconnected network that Izuku has essentially built around himself by being himself, by being the hero who is going to end this, and they have to all support him rather than letting him take it all on by himself.
Yeah, well, not only that, but Rocklock has been one of the few people who's consistently been like, these are children, they should not be in this fight.
Right.
And recognizing Izuku's utility, that he's the one they have to use, he's still going to want to give Izuku all the resources possible, no matter what, just because he's pissed that a kid has to be doing this.
Yep, exactly.
So he's going to be like, "Oh, you're a convicted felon. I don't give a shit. Like, if you can help this child, then we're going to do that.
Get up there and help my nephew."
Yeah, basically.
So then we get to the point in the last chapter where it ended, where we see that Lady Nagant shot the bullet to stop Shigaraki from destroying Sky High by shooting off his hand. And we see that this is basically, she's just at the top of Central Hospital, which, like, as far as I know, is miles and miles away from Sky High. Like, they don't know what's going on at Sky High. Yeah, and her quirk is like, she can shoot from any distance and hit her target, but like, also it's so far away that nobody can see it. Like, there's no way she can actually visually see it without her quirk. Or she may even have shot without seeing it and just used all of her quirk to shoot. It's not really clear. Also doesn't really matter. But
it's also, it is kind of like a mini quirk level up, isn't it?
Yes,
just a little bit.
I
like,
would say
they don't focus on it a lot, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it's basically a level up, and in doing that level up, in doing that shot, she really does re-injure herself. Like, it is shown that the shot that was last chapter basically just opens up all her wounds. It's like sort of a percussive force through her. She's bleeding again. Her wounds are open, but she's focused on this one thing that she can do to help the fight.
Yep.
And then with that, let me see. Okay, so her inner monologue continues. Basically, again, reiterating the fact that it was Izuku and it was also Hawks who became like the commission's secret tool after her. Basically reminded her that she always did want to be a hero. This is what she wanted to do. This is what she always dreamed of being a hero to be, was to help in the fight against pure evil.
And like if she's gonna go, like this is how she originally wanted to go.
Yep.
Like she's rediscovered her faith.
Yep, exactly. And so we do leave her with I believe it is a second shot fired, or maybe it's the only shot fired.
I think it was just one, because she mentions earlier that she's still got one more bullet left. I don't know how her body produces those bullets, but she only had enough for one.
Yeah. So, and it may be because her quirk is broken from whatever damage she felt last time, or because she's just been healing and she hasn't had time to make any more bullets.
I think so. That's kind of what I inferred.
Yeah, because I'm also hoping that she's saying, I only have one bullet left in me before I die. Like, I don't want that to be it. I want her to live.
Yeah. If that's what she's implying, then we're ignoring it.
Yeah, we are ignoring it, much like we are ignoring Barros's death. Anyway, so back to Sky High. We see the effect of Lady Nagant's final shot. We see Shigaraki's hand go flying because fuck you. And with that, we see Izuku witness that and smile again. Like, with these two former foes come back together for the greater good, he gets like a boost in morale, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that too, that like he boosts her morale, she boosts his. There's like this reciprocal relationship. I love that kind of shit. I eat it up.
It's perfect. It was done wonderfully. So with that, rather than continuing the fight, we go back into the Shigafo brain meld.
Yes, this confused me for a second before I realized, like, oh, this isn't like happening in real life. This is happening in Shiggy's head.
Yeah, this is all in Shiggy's head, in basically the telepathic thing that's going on between Shiggy and AFO, where AFO thought he had control and has now realized that he doesn't. And that is why he is so desperate for the two bodies to come together.
You know what's interesting? You know how you and I were talking about how this whole fight was going to hinge on like an astral conference call?
Yeah.
It is. Yep. Just not the one we thought it would be.
Just not one for all. It's all for
it's
ones.
All for ones instead.
Yeah. I love that.
Oh, Horikoshi.
So, yep. Oh, Horikoshi, you bitch. How dare you? So with that, we are now back in the mind meld. We haven't been here in a while. All I remember is that AFO is not in as much control as he thought he was, because the Quarks are rebelling, because Shigaraki or Tenko at some level is still resisting him, probably also because of Star and Stripes damage to it. Basically, he does not have the control he thought he did. And with that, he goes on a freaking tear, basically saying that useless piece of trash bitch, that how dare she even attempt to interact with all of this? How dare.
Yep, his true colors show, basically. And you know, he's been putting on this front of like, oh, I care about you guys, like I want to take care of you, I want to help you, I want to give you guys freedom. And now we can see, actually no, he views you all as pawns.
Yeah, and you're all stepping stones. And if any one of you dare to not be a stepping stone, he unleashes his really cowardly fury. Yeah. So with that statement, we get a new speech bubble, which is like reversed of AFO's. I didn't notice it at first, but I did when obviously he started talking. And with his little rant going on, we actually hear Shigaraki laughing at him, and like he's now joined like the manipulation fight. Like he's now revealing how much of himself is still in there. So with that, like he's either finally recognizing or finally able to voice the recognition of how he now recognizes that all of it was AFO's manipulation, and in fact his grooming. Like, they actually used the word grooming.
They did.
Which
I was really surprised.
Yep. So Shigaraki, whatever level he is at, he is now able to manipulate and basically fight back against AFO now with words, like with coherent thoughts now. And he's pointing out, like, he's recognizing that AFO just pushed all his buttons. Like, he just was able to get in there and manipulate him. And now he's able to see it. Which is a part of like an actual part of healing from trauma and like guardian abuse, which I really like that they are kind of like actually showing what happens in like actual recovery, as it were. Even though, I mean, Shiggy's not exactly on the road to recovery.
Well, you know, this is the first step, is just like recognizing and then manifesting your anger.
Yep, it's like recognizing everything that was wrong, and
it doesn't feel very healthy, but it is actually necessary.
Yeah, it is necessary. You have to let
they just happen to have superpowers and be in a battle.
Yeah, and he also is not that like not a 100% good person either, which makes him a very interesting character. Anyway, so
yeah, he's got his own selfishness that he's still working through.
Yeah. So basically, he is now telling his master that he recognizes all of this. He's able to see past all the bullshit. And he finally like admits or reveals that because he was never a fan of AFO's ultimate plan to just take his body for himself, he actually hid a core, like the core of himself, deeper and deeper down, where even AFO couldn't get to it, like didn't know that Shiki was actually preserving himself within himself.
Yep.
And let me go to my photos because the app crashed.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, let me get back to the correct page. Okay, so with that, Shigaraki continues, and he states that for the last little bit now, he has been reclaiming himself. He has been shaking off the mental control that AFO previously had, or previously thought he had.
Good job, Shiggy. I'm going to give him props for this one.
Like, good job. You're still a villain, but we're happy that you were able to begin your abuse recovery.
I'd much rather deal with Shiggy than AFO.
Yes, exactly.
They're both annoying, but Shiggy is slightly less annoying.
Yes. So with that, AFO turns to Kurogiri, who is there apparently.
He's actually standing there.
Actually there. Like he's just trying to decide what to do, because again, he's not actually Kurogiri, he's Kurokumo to some level. So he hasn't actually portaled the two bodies together yet. He's kind of just been there trying to decide what to do next.
Yep. I'm just so happy that I was right, and that AFO's brainwashing came back to bite him, because he brainwashed him to take care of Shiggy. That was his original programming, and that can't be overridden.
Yep. Not even by himself, because he's a bitch. Anyway, so he basically tells Kurogiri, likely through like Shigaraki's actual body, like he tries to speak through Shigaraki again. He like commands Kurogiri to portal him to his first body, the one that's over in Gunga. But Kurokumo keeps speaking, and he like it's not fully coherent, like it's mumbling, it's in and out. But basically it's like he is to protect Shigaraki, and he doesn't quite know how to do that yet.
Yep. Oh my god. There was fist pumping, y'all.
Yes,
I was
as
fist pumping.
There should be. All right. So with that, you turn the page and you go back into Kurokumo, and you see Shirakumo's face within the Kurogiri fog, which for whatever the levels of his control is, it is in fact Kurokumo. It's not Kurogiri. So
yeah,
we can now confirm that it's like he activated himself to do what he wants to do, not to blindly follow the order.
Yep.
All right. And with that, we get like some flashbacks to what Kurogiri saw like before he was imprisoned and in the last fight. And he doesn't know where to take Shigaraki, because whatever is left within him he knows he needs to get he needs to get friends together.
Mm-hmm.
So his first instinct is to get Shiggy and Spinner back together because
they're gay.
Because they're gay, and at another level, they are friends. Like
yes, they are genuinely friends and they care about each other.
Like even if you ignore the obvious gay, they are in fact canonically friends. Like it is very obvious that they care about each other.
Yeah, Spinner especially cares very deeply for Shiggy.
Yep, Shiggy himself specifically. And basically he's doing all those flashbacks, and that is why he's basically hesitating. But I do want to point out that with this same like thought process going on, I feel like that is also what led him to take Present Mike with him when he went to where Aizawa was. So like
100%, fully agree.
Yep. So that's wonderful. I can't wait to see how that plays out. But in the meantime, we have other stuff going on. So we are now back to Shiggy's narration,
control,
if you will. Yep. Shiggy has now taken the driver's wheel again and sort of revealed just how much of the driver's steering wheel he's taken. He calls Lady Nagant and Gentle like flip-flopping screw-ups. And he goes back to his origin, honestly, which is his old family house where everything just went terrible, where everything was ruined.
That's his origin story.
Yeah, where there was supposed to be love and there was not, at least in his viewpoint. So with that, he breaks free of the AFO in the mind. Like you can actually see amidst all the fingers and all the other quirks going on, you can see like the suit that AFO is wearing. Like you can see the arms, you can see the shoes, and you can see Shigaraki breaking free. And he makes the point that he, Shigaraki, and he, Tenko Shimura, the inner child that we were rooting for before, are now together again. Like he has refused the parts of his identity that he had to protect before. So with that, we zoom back out of his brain, and we see Shigaraki now back in control of his body, and we see his eyes aglow with like fervor, victory. Yeah. And he states that his like original purpose, what he really wants to do, is destroy everything that came from that house.
Oh my god, I had to pause for a few minutes when I got to this page because Horikoshi, he keeps doing this thing where he'll have his thesis statement and then he'll throw it in there, and then eventually he'll like tack on some new ending to the sentence that just like completely changes its meaning. And he keeps doing this, and I should expect it every time, but every single time it hits me emotionally, and I just oh my god,
he does it very effectively. Like before, we knew that Shigaraki's like main goal was just utter destruction, to destroy everything.
Destruction of everything.
Yep. And then with that, we get mainly that he's focused on destroying society as it is and the hero villain system as it is because it's stupid. But now we finally see where his actual motivation was, and that is to destroy everything that stemmed from his house. So like all his family bullshit, all the bullshit that led to his father being abusive to his son because of heroes and like because of the hero society. So we're finally actually getting back to the real roots of it, whereas before we thought it was just he hated society for letting him down, which he does.
Yeah, well, he had so much anger and emotion that it was just this giant fucking vortex. It was impossible to pinpoint the center, but now he's pinpointed the center, and the way he's phrased it, he could actually still like get his wish just in a very different way. Like his new motivation is actually something that he could pursue on his own without harming others. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him and whether he gets a second chance and whether he gets to live or not.
Yeah, and basically whether he sees that goal of doing all of that, or if he still considers it the same goal where he has to destroy everything.
Well, Izuku is going to come in with that high-speed therapy because he's going to latch on to that statement. He's going to be like, "Oh boy, do I have an essay for you?"
Yep. In the much more serious version of Mirio's failed attempt at therapy.
Oh God. You know what? That was
hilarious.
still great though. And I do still think that did something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he got through to Shiggy unknowingly.
Yeah, I think it kind of unlocked one of the locks that he hadn't been able to do himself. So it's all 100%. The same thing. But Izuku's speed therapy is going to be a little more serious. So with that, we see that Shigaraki is now somehow free of Sky High and is falling back towards the ground. It's not clear how that happened. It's also not clear where Kurakumo is because he was there, and now they have moved from that specific spot. But now Shigaraki is falling from Sky High and is going down to the ground to do his destruction that they have to prevent. And he makes the comment after he realizes his origin that destroying everything that stemmed from that house is the only thing that is going to save me, as he addresses Izuku.
So he's like, so what are you going to do about that, hero? If destruction is the only thing that's going to save me, then you can't save me. Yeah.
Little does he know that is all that's all Dr. Izuku needed to start his therapy.
Yep.
So
oh man,
with him getting out of Sky High, Izuku follows him. Again, he has his little morale boost. He's like back in control of all the quirks and vestiges. So he goes with Shigaraki down to the ground. There's a quick little panel where Gentle sees them fall. So
yeah, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? What am I keeping this thing in the air for?
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully somebody will like hear that over the earbuds and realize that neither of them are on Sky High anymore.
Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone knows.
Yep. So like with that, we are back to Izuku. Still with the obvious realization that he can't let himself and Shigaraki stay on a falling Sky High because it'll just kill them both when it lands. And then if it happens to kill Izuku first, nobody's going to stop Shigaraki.
Yep.
So with that, we also get a little panel of Mirio, who I believe is still holding Nejire, still supporting her.
Oh, I thought that was Katsuki.
Katsuki, Nejire, Tamaki, somebody.
Because that's kind of like what he's been doing this whole time, right? Is he's been guarding Katsuki's body while the surgery goes on.
Yeah, something like that. It's not immediately clear who it is. It could be Katsuki's hair. I'm
pretty sure it is. Thinking back on different chapters, he's been there the whole time. He's just been supporting Katsuki's head and not moving.
Okay. So sure, it might be Katsuki. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Because again, we still don't have an update for my son. And then next to Mirio's little panel, we have another little panel of the freaking marketing students.
It is the marketing students. I was like, okay, I know it's a UA student, but who the fuck is that?
It's the marketing student with the beehive.
Oh my god. And his fucking phone.
Yep, and his phone that he is documenting everything, because that is all he is currently able to do is document it. And so now it is.
Well, I guess someone has to, but Jesus, child.
Yeah.
You're really risking it for the biscuit.
Yeah, he's got his one job, and by damn, he is gonna do it.
Go beyond plus ultra, I guess.
Yep. So with that, Izuku now continues. Izuku now speaks. He says, I can't let you destroy whatever you're going to destroy. And he adds that I also can't pretend that you weren't crying back there.
Gear up, Shiggy. You're going to cry even harder.
Yep. It is time for Izuku's speed therapy. I don't even know what number it is, but yes. Sorry.
So many.
All right, so the chapter then ends with an almost 2-page spread of Izuku and Shigaraki have reached the ground. They are both on the ground. Shigaraki still only has one hand. It's not clear how his healing abilities are going, but...
Yeah, God, imagine if Lady Nagant had managed to hit him in the forehead.
If only.
If only. That would have ended the series entirely too soon. It would have been super anticlimactic.
It would have been not good storytelling, but it would
very
have been
bad
funny.
Storytelling. It would have been so fucking funny.
So yeah, basically the chapter ends with Shigaraki's hand still gone on one side, and with Izuku holding onto his other hand with Black Whip, and we have the classic villain's face in shadow with their eyes glowing kind of thing. And then the final page is Izuku holding onto the other end of Black Whip. Basically, they're both preparing for their final showdown. Again.
Again. You know what, though? Now that Izuku has jumped off sky high, I think Katsuki's going to wake up.
Yep, for sure.
Because Izuku left him again, and I feel like he's going to know. So he's going to wake up and be like, where the fuck is he?
Where I just died for him and his triple god mode. Where the fuck is he? Why isn't he cradling me like I am dreaming about in my Jart surgery? We will find out if Katsuki wakes up in 7 days. If the chapter gives us that update, because the next chapter comes out in 7 days.
Oh, thank God. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah.
So that was a chapter.
That was a chapter. And I love that it was like all in like 30 seconds and nothing even really happened other than Shigaraki taking the steering wheel for the moment, which it was kind of had.
It was literally like Nagant, Shigi taking steering wheel, Izuku yeets them both off sky high. Like, and plot-wise, that's all that happened.
That's all that happened. It was just all the character stuff in between was so meaty and beautiful.
It was so good. We feasted.
All right. So, thinking about next time, if we stay in this general area and not jump to any of the other fights still going on.
Christ.
Including what the fuck is going on with Toga Choco and their little romance chat.
Toga Choco. Yeah. My God.
Well, I feel like now we've hit that thing again where it's not a pause in the battle. It's just like how Horikoshi like breaks them up. It's like every time they're about to launch the next attack, he sees that as a pause and like sometimes jumps to other places. So he may go to another place. He may stay here. I hope if he does stay here, we get an update on Katsuki and however Ed Shot is doing or not doing. And I want a Kurokumo update with his 2 boyfriends.
And I want my 2 girlfriends to finally have their chat about romance.
Yes, I need all of it. It feels like we've been wanting the same things for like 3 months now.
Yeah, we have. There's been absolutely no progress.
Even though there's been so much progress.
I know. Trust me, I am aware.
All right. Well, we do have the beautiful volume cover to always fall back on because gays keep winning and I refuse to believe anything else.
Even though delicious queer bait.
Yes, delicious. Yes, I am keeping most of myself is like they're not going to do it because we've been burned so much in the past and there's not really been any like obvious nods to the fact that they are going somewhere else. Kind of like with how Shira like
don't even talk to me about Shira.
Well, we didn't really get like canon togetherness until like the final couple episodes, but before that like there were obvious signs that is where it was going. Like it wasn't queer bait, it was obvious plot development.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because like granted my understanding of manga genres is hazy, but as far as I'm aware, you don't really get queer protagonists in shonen. If you do, it's considered a different genre entirely. Right. So I don't think we're going to get it. But like if we get like a hug and them being best friends at the end, I'm going to consider that a win.
Yeah, because obviously they will go from that to being together. As AO3 will correct. But it's also
please no epilogue. We don't want an epilogue in the future. No, we don't.
We don't want the Izu Ocha epilogue that nobody wants.
With their 3 babies or whatever. Yeah.
Ugh, with their 3 floating broccoli babies. I mean, yes, it is a legit ship, but it's also very low on the pecking order of good ships.
It's just not our ship.
Yes, that.
So it's not what we're hoping for.
Yes. And like to your point about manga, or rather shonen not being queer, that's how it's always been. But I always like to remind myself that it is in fact 2023. Like on some level, we could be living in the future where shonen does start to become queer.
That would be interesting.
It would be
if My
interesting.
Hero kicked it off, I would be flabbergasted.
Yeah, we would be literally on the ground floor of a literal paradigm shift in a genre, which would be great. But that's basically what keeps my hope a little bigger than yours, I think. It's like, yes, shonen has never been gay, but also it is 2023 and we've had a lot of progress. And it's not impossible for it to happen at the end of this one, I think. Where like before, yes, they would never have been queer. Like there's a very tiny, small little decimal of a percentage,
little sliver
that it could happen just from like a wider world perspective, you know?
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. We will see. I will be sad if it doesn't happen, but I will also not be like surprised or disappointed that it didn't happen. Like I know it's probably not going to, but I can hope. I want my husbands cradling each other to be canon because they are married. Anyway,
I just need them to hug.
I need Katsuki.
Those two children need to hug. They need a hug.
They need to hug and fucking wake up on something that is not a possibly canon ever.
I'm pretty sure Katsuki's gonna wake up soon. I feel it in my bones. I'm willing to make that prediction and look stupid later.
Okay. Well, we will see. Next week is the beginning of February, so that'll be fun.
Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I can just babble about queer media theory and literacy forever. So do you have anything else before we stop?
I think I'm good. I feel like you answered all my questions as we were going through the chapter.
Okay. Yeah, and then you had the point that it might have been Katsuki, not Nejire. So
I'm pretty sure it's Katsuki.
Well.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for listening to our incessant rambling. We will be back in 7 days. But in the meantime, go beyond, plus ultra, and catch the fuck up. Bye, y'all.
Bye.